Would you ever choose your holiday destination because you've seen a celebrity doing charity work there? Well, it seems many of us are, but who are the real winners? This week, Fast Track meets the pop star Madonna as she's credited with putting Malawi firmly on the tourist map.
I don't think about Malawi in tourism. I don't put those two words together, but I suppose it is a beautiful place.
Plus, we're in cowboy country in the US, checking out what's on offer for visitors who want to take home a bit of Texas charm. And
the classical sounds of summer, from Austria to Italy to Croatia. That's coming up on Insider Guide.
hello and welcome to 30 minutes of travel news, escape and inspiration with me, Fiona Foster. I do hope you'll stay with us. Now, first today we're going to talk about the power of celebrity-driven tourism. When a celebrity visits a developing country to do charity work, often the unintended consequence is an increase in tourism numbers there. But is this a purely positive spin-off? Or should tourists be taking a step back and getting out of the way of charity workers? Fast Track's Greg Mackenzie now reports.
Madonna has been to the African country of Malawi several times, and on each occasion, the world's media followed her.
Hello. Hello. I just wanted to say how happy I am to be here in Malawi. It's been a few years, and lots has changed, and I see a lot of change for the good.
Even though she's there on her own charity mission to tackle various issues such as HIV and AIDS and illiteracy, by doing so, she's not only boosted the profile of Malawi, but unwittingly boosted tourism numbers.
When Madonna started travelling out to Malawi, there were more people visiting our site. That was certainly the case. You know, Madonna is one of the world's biggest celebrities. Wherever she goes, whatever she does is news. That brings attention to what it is she's doing and where it is she's going. And then people, they see Malawi, so they go searching for some Malawi information, and lo and behold, they find out that it's a beautiful, wonderful country that they can go and do some fantastic holidays in.
Madonna told Fast Track what first sparked her interest in Malawi.
What drew me to Malawi was the fact that there were over 1 million children orphaned by AIDS. When I got there, I realized that it was also a beautiful country, geographically speaking. But I mean, it's still one of the poorest countries in the world, and there are a lot of children that are living without educations as well, without homes, etc., etc. So.
And does it surprise you that...
I don't think about Malawi in tourism. I don't put those two words together, but I suppose it is a beautiful place with lots of not beautiful things happening in it.
Though she doesn't take credit for the increase in visitor numbers to Malawi. Now, over the last 7 years, the total growth for travel and tourism in Malawi has hit a staggering 181%, outperforming both the region and the world. The tourism industry in Malawi is a sector for huge economic growth, and those travellers bring foreign currency and investment to the country. But as a result, campaigners are worried that some locals could be displaced to make way for new hotels and tourist developments.
When there are any development programs, it has always been the case that the government would look carefully at the needs of the people and try to balance them with the program or project that the government would like to implement. Whenever people have been required to move from their homes to give way for development projects, the people have been compensated in various ways through outright cash and other programs in the areas to which they move. So at the end of the day, the government looks at the cost-benefit analysis of such investment in relation to the people as well as in relation to national interest.
Another issue is how much of the tourist dollar actually trickles through to the local economy. According to Mark Watson, who runs Tourism Concern, it can be as little as 10%.
Quite often what is happening is people are travelling there and it's having no impact on the local economy at all, because the money that is being spent, and most of that money spent on that holiday, 80–90% of that money is going either to big multinationals or going to chains. It is not going into the local economy, and that's what we're trying to campaign for.
And it's not just the Malawian economy which has been boosted by tourism. In the southern African country of Lesotho, the income from tourists has increased by 21% in the past 3 years. Now, one of the contributing factors could be Prince Harry's recent visit to the country, where he set up a charity.
I think it's more so the mature market who've travelled the world, who have a high disposable income that would travel. The Americans would travel a lot because of what they would see on television and the media.
And some followed Angelina Jolie when she first visited Cambodia back in early 2000, whilst filming the Hollywood movie Tomb Raider. Since then, she has campaigned on issues affecting local people in Cambodia, including environmental conservation, health, education and infrastructure in the remote and impoverished northwest of the country. She too unwittingly helped to put Cambodia on the tourist map. The country has seen its travel and tourism industry grow by more than 400% over the last 12 years.
Well, we're hungry for celebrity. We want to be like celebrities, and we like to see where a celebrity goes on holidays. And also, if Cambodia is good enough for Angelina Jolie, it's good enough for the tourists as well.
But famous people are not the sole reason tourism is growing in the developing world. New airports, improved infrastructure, growing economies, and the rise of the independent traveller are all valid reasons for visitor numbers increasing as we all seek out new holiday destinations. But when a celebrity does land on your doorstep, it's one sure way to generate and guarantee global interest about the place they're visiting.
Greg Mackenzie reporting on the impact some celebrities are having on tourism in the developing world. And do let us know if you've ever chosen a holiday destination because you've learnt about it through the publicity surrounding a celebrity visit. Email us at our usual address, fasttrack@bbc.com. Now let's have a look at what else has been making headlines in travel this week.
Demonstrations in Egypt have led to governments around the world warning against non-essential travel to some parts. The pyramids near Cairo and Luxor are affected, but the warnings don't include Red Sea resorts. If you've got a trip booked to an area covered by the advice, contact your operator. Most package holidays should be refunded or an equivalent found. If you're heading to see the ancient ruins near Peru's capital Lima, you might find you're visiting nothing more than an old pile of rocks. Part of the oldest archaeological site near Lima has been destroyed by developers. Criminal charges have been brought against two companies who are accused of bulldozing a 6-metre high pyramid. The Statue of Liberty's reopened after 6 months of repairs following the damage caused by Superstorm Sandy. Tickets start at $17. But if you fancy going up, make sure you book in advance, as demand's expected to be very high in the coming months. And don't forget your passport. Tickets can only be picked up if you've got photo ID. Finally, swimmers at a beach in East China have been put off entering the water by a fluffy green and rather smelly algae. Excavators have been deployed along the waters of Qingdao to clear the water. About 4,000 tonnes of the stuff have been removed every day.
Well, now you're up to date, we're going to take a short break. But do stay with us, because coming up, Michelle Yana Chan is here with her insider guide to what's happening around the world in the month of July. Everything from a motoring garden party in England to an underwater photo seminar in the Caribbean. Plus, we go in search of the soul of a cowboy.
I usually go through like this, and then I'm drawn to a certain pair for whatever reason. This is a pair of Tony Lamas. Those were made back in the day when Tony Lama still had quality boots. You have happy toes? Happy toes?
We go to Texas to meet the boot whisperer. Stay with us.
Hello, I'm Michelle Yana-Chan, and this is Fast Track's Insider Guide with my top travel tips from around the world. Dating back nearly 70 years, the Bregenz Summer Festival in Austria draws audiences to the shores of Lake Constance with a backdrop of the Alps. This year's festival begins July 17th and runs for a month. Highlights include Mozart's The Magic Flute, playing on the spectacular floating stage here, also Shakespeare's The Merchant of Venice, all accompanied by the Vienna Symphony Orchestra. Over the summer, on the west coast of Sweden, it's the annual exhibition Sculpture at Pillene, running till September 1st. Contemporary work by artists from around the world comes together on the island of Tjörn, north of Gothenburg, a rural region with ancient stone circles and tombs dating back 2,000 years. Japan is also showcasing art among its islands at the Setouchi International Art Festival, dotted around the Seto Inland Sea. There are 3 phases to the festival, and after a successful spring exhibition, the summer exhibition begins July 29th. More than 150 works of art will be displayed on a dozen islands around the ports of Takamatsu and Uno. There's a good train and ferry network here. Held only once every 3 years, this is one to catch. In July, Burma, otherwise known as Myanmar, is hosting the sporting tournament of Chinlone in Mandalay in the grounds of the Mahamuni Pagoda. Competitors try to keep up in the air a traditional rattan ball while demonstrating their dynamic and balletic movement. In the palaces and parks, the churches and courtyards, the squares and forts, the 64th Dubrovnik Summer Festival presents a programme of classical music, theatre, opera and dance. There'll be more than 80 open-air performances in this medieval Croatian town, starting July 10th and lasting over a month. Calling itself the world's largest motoring garden party, the Goodwood Festival of Speed in England celebrates its 20th anniversary the second weekend in July. Nearly 200,000 spectators come to see supercars in a lineup of the loudest, the quickest and the craziest. In Italy, the Puccini Festival in the town of Torre del Lago near Pisa plays July 12th through August 24th. The first operas were performed here in 1930, when the festival was established by Giacomo Puccini himself. Performances this year include Turandot, Tosca and Rigoletto. I'm just back from Sao Tome and Principe in the Gulf of Guinea. Coming up, whale watching season, as well as the best time for big game fishing until September. On the beaches, baby turtles will be hatching for another month or two. And don't miss the colourful open-air theatrical productions the islands are famous for. Chiloli in Sao Tome runs now through September. And Ecuador's Tren Crucero steam train is back on track as part of a rebuild of the country's historic railway network, running from Quito, high in the Andes, to the Pacific coast. Miles of track have been repaired and replaced, connecting the Valley of the Volcanoes with the Naraz del Diablo, a route with a series of precipitous switchbacks. Thanks for checking in with my Insider Guide this month. Until next time, happy travelling.
Ask anybody who visits the US state of Texas what they'd like to take home with them, and chances are they'll say a pair of cowboy boots. Tom Cruise, Sharon Stone, Bruce Willis, all the stars buy their boots in the Lone Star State, the spiritual home of cowboy culture. Well, it seems despite the global recession, sales of boots are exploding. One Texas company is reportedly making 3,500 pairs a week. So what's on offer to the visitor who wants to walk away with a bit of Texas charm? Heather Alexander is in Austin to find out how easy it is to find the boot of your dreams.
Who owns you, you brave little feet?
There's no doubt about it, when it comes to country, Texans know how to do it. The rolling hills, the bubbling brooks, but always lurking somewhere out there are the critters, those pesky creatures ready to nip at your heels as you range through the grasslands. And that's why you need them boots. Not so many Texans travel by horse anymore, but they haven't given up their footwear.
Now, finding the right cowboy boot can be a seriously overwhelming task. There are literally thousands of designs across the state of Texas, but luckily we know where to start.
We're heading to the small town of Wimberley.
Customer came up with that. You're like, wait for it, a boot whisperer.
Uli is famous for picking out the perfect boot with just one look at your foot.
I usually go through like this, and then I'm drawn to a certain pair for whatever reason.
Today's guest, country music singer Jessie Winchester, here for her vintage classics.
This is a pair of Tony Lamas. Those were made back in the day when Tony Lama still had quality boots.
And the A-list agree. When they come to Texas, they're looking for the real thing too.
Okay, Happy toes?
They're just delighted. I wish you could see them.
Lee Miller's been making boots since he was just 18 years old. The likes of Sting, Tommy Lee Jones, Willie Nelson have all worn boots from this Austin workshop. He was taught by a boot-making legend, Charlie Dunn.
We made boots for Lauren Bacall, and that was cool because as a boy growing up, I thought she was the perfect woman.
They're works of art, crafted from leathers sourced all over the world.
The South Africans, they're very good at tanning ostrich.
Ostrich, Indian water buffalo, shark, alligator, even on rare occasions, elephant.
As long as we can legally buy it, we'll buy it, but we're not going to promote it. Now what she has to do is she has to make the roses.
The signature roses, the names stitched in mirror images on the side, all techniques Lee and Casey are trying to keep alive.
I'm teaching Casey my secrets. It's things that I hope that she never shows anybody until she wants to show them to whoever she feels is right for that.
And he's not the only one worried. Down the street is a man who came all the way from Dublin, Ireland to preserve the art of the handmade boot.
Because when it's gone, it's gone. And truthfully, the larger manufacturers now, they're all just looking for the cheapest place to make a boot.
Jerry Ryan's boots are off the shelf and run to just hundreds instead of the thousands a custom boot can set you back. He does it by using a team of skilled bootmakers based in Mexico.
There's probably about 3 days of stitching in the tops of them.
And the designs are all his own. The idea to revive patterns dating all the way back to the 1940s, with some new ones thrown in, like this dressy boot made from stingray. Back in the hill country,
they feel fabulous.
What keeps all these boot lovers going is that mystical connection between a boot and its owner. And once you've found the way of the boot, there's no going back.
I had a feeling you did great. This is awesome.
Cowboy up, everyone.
Heather Alexander on the search for the perfect boot with the Texan Boot Whisperer. And that's it for this week, but do try and join us again next week when we'll be on America's Gulf Coast. 3 years on from the Deepwater Horizon oil spill, can the area ever reclaim its top spot on the tourist map?
I was the chairman of the county commission when this event went on, and it was a terrible day. But in that, we said there would be a silver lining. We would have the opportunity for this restoration, and I think that has been what we've been aiming at for 3 years, is how to make that happen.
Plus, Michelle Yanachan drives through some of the remotest places on Earth in the Peking to Paris Motor Challenge in what looks like a remarkable adventure.
So we've done some artwork on the side, the names of the drivers, which is mandatory on all the cars, as well as the car number. So this is chronological, so the oldest car is about 100 years old.
In the meantime, do stay in touch with us via Facebook, Twitter and Pinterest, and have a look at some of our trips and stories from around the world. But until next time, from me, Fiona Foster, and the rest of the Fast Track team here in the gardens of Syon House in London, goodbye and happy travelling.